And also, what was the other reminder she just said?
Oh, questions in the chat.
If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat.
I'm just gonna add, my name is Sandra Chetwood, I'm the family liaison. I will be translating if it's necessary in Spanish, but if we don't have anyone sign up online who needs a translation, to give you more time, I won't translate if it's not necessary, but I'm gonna wait a few minutes to see if anyone signs up who needs translation online.
All right, so tonight's meeting is about the Advanced Academics Program. It's an overview of the available elementary services. Here are our session outcomes, if you would like to just take a moment to read them. And then after you've read them and you're ready to move on, you can just show me a thumb. And the people in the chat, they can also raise a thumb too, can't they? Yes,
They can.
they can. Is everybody ready? Good. Okay. So in Fairfax County Public Schools, here are all the beliefs. Students deserve an excellent education. They learn best when educators, parents, and students work together. High expectations lead to high performance, and all students need opportunities to use strength and pursue interests. So the two goals of the Advanced Academics Program are to promote and provide challenge through talent development. What talent development looks like is in every grade level, giving the children access to rigor. And what that means is critical and creative thinking strategies that will allow them to go deeper, that will allow them to ask and generate questions. It will also allow them to take the things that are in their head and put them onto a piece of paper, start with a general idea and kind of fan out into broader ideas. Then pick back up that piece in a few weeks and reflect back on it, have discussions with other students, just to encourage a deeper understanding of the learning. The differentiation to meet all of the needs of the advanced learners starts in kindergarten level and goes all the way up to 5th grade. And what it looks like is a lot of concept-based lessons that are interdisciplinary, which means all subjects within one subject. What that would look like in my room is me teaching a science lesson that might also incorporate mapping skills, graphing skills for math, so that everything is incorporated in there so that the students aren't missing pieces. How do we feel about that? Here's what it looks like. Now, the elementary schools focus mostly on this, well, actually all of this. So this is what I was talking about before. Access to rigor starts in kindergarten, goes all the way up to 5th grade. Subject specific, we'll go into when I get to that slide, but we're going to focus on K through 6 tonight. We have a Young Scholars Model Program. It is part of the Advanced Academics Program. It allows first-generation college students the same opportunities as other students who have had multiple family members going to universities and colleges. It exposes them early on. It gives them the skills required to go into the job market after or trade school. And we will have a more in-depth informational session about that in January. So there will be information coming out and we'll just do a deeper dive of that model at that time. So if you have any questions before then, we'll talk about it in January. Twice exceptional students have an IEP, a 504, and exceptional abilities. If you would like more information on that, there is a handbook on that. There is a section on the web where you can go to learn more about that. But basically it just says, regardless, advanced academic services are available to all students. Right. So we have 4 levels of service. And now we have a full-time program at the school. I told you a little bit about the access to rigor. That has lessons that are concept-based. It allows all the students opportunities to develop critical thinking skills, either through questioning, visualization exercises. It includes all subjects so that none of the subjects are in isolation. Subject specific might mean that a child might be better in one subject and we want to highlight that gift. So we extend the activities for that student in that subject where they feel the most comfortable. Or it could be 2 subjects. Sometimes I've worked with students who have 3 subjects that are really, really strong. But what it means is wherever your student has their strength, we're going to try to increase that opportunity to give them a higher level of rigor for that subject. Part-time service 3 is where I'm actually going to go into a classroom, work with a group of students within the subject area or pull them out and work with them on specific concepts that will help enrich the learning that they're already doing in the classroom. It's usually 1 to 2 times per week, 55 minutes a session. Letters for those children receiving those services will be coming home soon. A lot of students had those letters come home last year. I just would like the opportunity to send them back out so everybody can start out on the same page and we can move forward. Yep. And we have a full-time service. Our full-time program is in 3rd grade. And I work with Mr. Clark. He's the full-time service teacher, but we actually do flexible grouping in 3rd grade sometimes so that all of the students still have the opportunity to work with those groups. I do pull them out. I push into their classrooms frequently. They're right near me, so I feel like it gives them the opportunity to really, really grow that local level 4 program, and it will be with them for the rest of their career. So we're excited about that. I'm going to give you guys a minute to look at this, and then if you want to raise your thumb, we can talk a little bit more. Sorry. And then we'll bring this sheet around for everybody to sign in. So on the ability testing, we really believe in looking at the entire child. The ability testing just gives us one data point. And it's not the most important factor that we look at, but it is one factor. Here are the 2 abilities tests that we offer. The retest option on the second one, the deadline for next year will be September 15th to get those applications in or those requested on time.
We're going to talk a little bit more about what the testing process looks like for the Naglieri, the NNAT in grade 1, and then the COGAT grade 2.
All right, so the NNAT Naglieri is a abilities test that we offer 1st grade at the end of their 1st grade year when they're transitioning into 2nd grade. The abilities test has visual and folding exercises and strategy and concepts where students are looking at pictures, matching them, and then the COGAT test is several different sections. So there is a verbal section. There's also a pictorial section for 2nd grade where they're looking at pictures, coming up with ideas, responding to them. The COGAT test window is actually coming up. Letters went home about that today. That's usually a full week. It's 1 hour a day. It moves through the ability section. It's full 2nd grade through 5th who have not had that test will be required to take it. Now, when they take it, if parents are not satisfied with the scores, there is the option of a one-time retake. So that's what this deadline is for. And then the retest deadline for the NAGLE area is October 15th.
Have the first graders already taken this test?
No,
They take it in
February. Oh, I'm still looking like the following.
right,
School year they would retake it. Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Yeah, if you feel like the score report doesn't reflect what you see from your child, then that's when you might reach out to Ms. Williams and say, hey, I would like to have the retake. And it's one retake and one or the other. So it might be something to consider. Having a first grader, you may want to consider waiting until the second grade year and getting those scores reports, because you can only ask for a retest of one.
Okay.
Any other questions? We do have a question section coming up, but I don't want to keep anybody from.
Yes, there's one online.
Okay,
Okay. Never mind.
okay. If you would like some more information, here is the website.
Someone may have already asked, but when does the NNAT and COGAT testing typically happen?
So
I just missed it.
perfect timing.
Thank you.
So and that will happen, we said February, it's
first graders.
for first graders. COGAT, the window is opening in 2 weeks
Oh, okay. Sooner.
for second graders and the letters went home today.
And any
Okay.
students in really fast don't have a contact
Oh,
score.
Yes.
okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, now we have time for questions.
Thank you for leading the way. That was a beautiful segment.
Did you get to sign in as well?
I didn't send it yet. I will.
I'll get it.
This was probably a few slides ago, but where it showed like the different pieces for the K through 6 stuff. So for the ones other than the full-time program, that just sort of happens like naturally in the course of the school year. There's like nothing we need to do like proactively for any of that to happen. It just kind of occurs on a cycle. Or
Specifically, are you talking about the screening process
not
to get to level 4 or what happens
the
previously?
stuff before that, like
Level
the,
one and
I think the
level
one
two.
was
Level
rigor
one and level
based,
two.
and then the next was like the pull out stuff and that. Is there anything proactively, any steps we need to take for that, or that just sort of happens throughout the course of what you all do?
You will, the screening process will need to happen for the part-time service 3 and 4.
Okay,
And that screening process will come open in, I think we open in, that's the process starts by December.
okay.
So what grade level specifically are you talking?
So
about?
mine's kindergarten, so we're like early on for that. But like, so then, but the first couple things that were on the block,
Right.
I can't picture what they were.
The first one was
Yeah, can you go-
access to rigor.
Would you
Yes.
mind going back to
Back
the
to that
slide so that
slide,
our families
sure.
at home can also have the
Yes.
opportunity to see it?
Okay.
Yeah, like, is there any particular, is that just like part of what's in the classroom and being offered, or is that like something we need to be on the lookout for a letter?
So the
anything
short
like that?
answer is
Yeah.
yes, at
Okay.
the level 1 and level
Okay,
2 happen
awesome.
naturally within the classroom.
Okay.
They are increased exposure to everybody. And then with the level 2, as we see the strengths in reading or math, teachers
Cool.
naturally differentiate.
Okay.
And that can include providing supports, or it can be including extending up, and Ms. Williams is a resource for teachers for that. Where it becomes the larger shift, sorry, you were busy working on. Jump in, where it becomes bigger, right, and a bigger shift is looking at the level 3 or part-time services.
Okay, yeah, cool. Got it.
For the level 4 service for kids, I may have missed this again, sorry, but I think right now there's like, you choose between Belvedere and here, and the future is gonna be just here. For once you're in 3rd grade and beyond, if you're in the AAP.
So your option will always be, you could choose between the
Oh, okay.
schools.
Awesome.
However, we
Okay.
strongly encourage the students to stay in the local level 4 because they already have that built-in community. They have the built-in supports. And I am actually teaching them frequently through like, I'm on the specialist schedule, I'm going into classrooms, I'm doing pull-out. I came from one of those center schools. I'm glad that you asked. So I love that I get to be part of a program that's building that within the system and hoping we can gather that so that Bryn Mawr Park becomes that school that everybody's like fighting to get into and wanting to stay.
There we are.
Nothing's wrong. Please hear me say nothing's wrong with the other school options, but I'm just saying like this is such a wonderful, loving and supportive community. We really, really just want to keep expanding that.
And that's my preference too, actually.
Any other questions? Yes.
Okay, so tell me how this, so I have a first grader. The end of kindergarten, we receive the test results and then saying basically like we're tracking for these subjects for AAP or whatever. They took the iReady, was gonna get those scores back from like a parent teacher conference, I think. How does that factor into this level one that happens in the classroom? And how do we know that the services are happening, the support is coming to continue to advance within the level one program? Like, what does that look like? How do I know it's happening? That sort of thing.
Okay, I'm glad you asked, because here's what it looks like for first grade right now. They are wanting to, at the moment, have me come in and either co-teach with them or actually lead a lesson with them. We're setting that up.
Okay.
In the meantime, what I've been doing is going and checking in with each class. Your daughter's class in particular is in Miss Robinson, right?
Owl.
Miss Howell. Yes. So a great example is like I went into Miss Howell's room 2 weeks ago. We did a 25-minute lesson on math, just a review.
Okay.
It was game-based, but it printed out a full score sheet to show if they're still on the same level where they were in kindergarten. Miss Howell and I will be going over those data points within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
And then working with the first grade team, we'll set up from there what that's going to look like long-term. But at the moment, I think it's going to be, we're trying for at least one time per quarter for me to give a full-on lesson
Okay.
with that group. What it looks like in second grade, and however, is that I'm teaching specialist schedule in kindergarten for the kindergarten students. They're on the specialist schedule, so I see them literally every week for 30 minutes.
Okay.
So that's
second grade.
that's second grade.
Okay.
So first grade, I will be working with the team on what they would like.
Okay.
Second grade, I'm working with them on all the concept-based lessons, starting with science and including the other activities. Third grade, I'm pushing in a lot because that is their full-time local level 4. Fourth grade and fifth grade are also on the special schedule, but I go in, I think I've been in there every other week just to do like a 25-minute extra lesson to make sure I'm getting all of the students and no one's being left out.
Okay. Now, in the first grade level, it's maybe counterintuitive, but it's not for me. Is everyone in the class tracking that? So is something that happens at the whole class level, or is it something that happens with a select group of students within their class?
No, this is going to be at the whole class level at this point. Because remember, we're also trying to develop the talent of the students, and maybe there was something happen that will highlight a child this year that wasn't highlighted the year
Okay.
before. I want to catch that pretty early
Okay.
and grow all of those opportunities for all the students.
Okay.
Now, the ones that are tracked, we will screen when it gets to that point. And then as a school team, we'll lead the parents through the process.
Okay.
Anything you want to know at that time, I'll have more information for you. Yes. Did that answer your
It
question?
does, because I just don't, I thought the time just came up in kindergarten, but the school year was over, and so then I never knew like really where the rubber hit the road as far as like first grade and what the expectations should be and like what I should be looking for her to tell me, you know, why and that sort of thing. That is very helpful.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up because I did go to a training today where I have some strategies and ideas for that. So
And what tests do they take in kindergarten? I'm sorry.
in kindergarten, it's iReady.
It's not even iReady.
It's not really.
It's the
not.
regular general
Okay,
education.
got it,
Yeah.
Ability testing doesn't start till first grade.
got it.
Yeah.
With the Nagley area.
Okay,
Mhm.
got it. Yeah. Thank you.
What's the difference between the iReady and the Nagley?
iReady is literacy and math based, and it does inferencing concepts, comprehension. But it's actually looking at phonics, fluency, and it is taken every year 3 benchmarks or 2 benchmarks for this school, 3 benchmarks.
Okay.
And then we use that as one of the data points, but it's not the main one.
Okay.
And so just to kind of clarify too, so assessments like iReady measure how students are doing in academics. So every child gets access to that. It's measuring their reading, it's measuring their math skills. And so that helps us kind of track growth as well as use that information to plan for instruction.
Okay.
Abilities assessments like the MNAT or the COGAT are more about how students think.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily how well are they doing in reading or how well are they doing in math. It's how well can they problem solve? How well can they think outside the box to solve different problems and figure out what a solution might be. And one thing that as parents you might be helpful is if you even go on Google and that or COGAT, they do have released the sample items, like the directions that students go through. So you can kind of see and get a feel for like what that looks like,
Okay.
but it's not basic reading and it's not basic math. It's more problem solving and critical thinking.
Which is why I said that's what we work on in classes, the critical thinking and strategy skills, just because long-term it will help them in every subject. Yes.
My first grade is in Miss Robinson's, but I guess one question I have is, do we receive or we get to view some of these other assessment things, like what you're doing with like the 30-minute with like the kids and whatnot? Do we see some of that? Or does that come more as in through our parent teacher conference, or what is like the?
That is a great question. I guess my question back to you is, you mean like you want to hear more about it, or you want to know what the process looks like?
I just want to hear like the results or something I can talk to my kid about one day too, something like that. Yeah.
So what I'm going to try to do better is allow the students to bring a work sample home once a month. I've been holding all of their work samples just so I am able to pull their best portfolio work, so that when parent teacher conferences come around, you get to see what your child is doing through every subject and specialist. Does that work?
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have another follow-up question, going back to the level 4 center.
Yes,
So
go
the one that you're building up here, is it gonna have the same resources and same, are they designed to be exactly the same, or what are like, are there any differences between them? What's like the?
The children at the school get a very enthusiastic teacher that's going to hit everything. And I have just got a lot of brand new resources.
Okay.
So I am right now distributing those resources to the actual classroom teachers so that when they go to meetings, they can decide as a team how they would like me to support them.
Okay.
And then from there, we work on a plan, and then I roll it out. And then I have offered to teachers, if parents have questions for me during parent teacher conference, I will come to the actual conference and be part of that discussion.
That's awesome.
Does that help?
Yes.
Let's say, and just furthermore, kind of answer that question, right? Is the main difference between a local level 4, which is what Bryn Mawr Park is now starting in 3rd grade, and it will roll up to 4th grade next year. So we'll have 3rd and 4th, and then we'll roll up to 5th. So we'll have 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Is that in the classroom, we provide our level 4 students with those level 4 resources. And because we don't have a full class environment of all level 4 students, which is what centers have, that means we can welcome in students who are showing strengths in different areas and be able to share that even more so with all students. So students who are strong in math, we can invite them to be a part of that along with our level 4. Science, social studies, literacy, we can flex that, but our level 4 students would always receive access to that content.
Does that help?
Yes.
Okay. Any more questions?
I actually have a question. It's more of a, even though the grammar is elementary school, right? When it comes to after the 5th grade, the 6th grade through 8th grade is a concern because the home is middle school. Now, do we have programs that will?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because the trainings that I've been in this year to roll out the full-time local level 4 means that the students at the school have access to 2 middle schools, and both of those schools, advanced academics resource teachers, are going to provide information night sessions for the parents, so that you guys will get to go to both schools. We will put it in a newsletter. And the AARTs already are expecting for Bryn Mawr Park parents to participate, so they know. They are excited, and I'm just gonna be honest with you, I've already started planting those seeds into the students' heads right now,
Okay.
just to let them know, like, with this opportunity becomes more options. And they're both really good schools.
So to piggyback onto that, it could potentially change their, what do they call it, like
Assigned school?
triangle or whatever.
Pyramid.
Pyramid,
yeah.
yes. You know, they're in great shape.
What?
Or it makes because it was different, because I know that you didn't say which school they are, which I'm completely fine with, but I know like traditionally people have said like, before we had it here at the school, that it would change your pyramid going forward. Is that still the case if you choose to stay here?
I will have to get back to you on that
Okay.
because we just shifted some regions.
Okay.
It's,
I would
can
think that
answer
it's-
Cause Belvedere is no longer in our region, which it's fine. Cause that's more of a me thing and like staff thing than it is for families.
Mhm.
But the answer is yes. So families who elect to go to Belvedere would no longer be in our pyramid.
Right.
They would be shifting to Region 2 in Belvedere with they're in the Justice Pyramid.
Okay.
That being said, as a parent of a level 4 student, you have choices. And so if you choose to keep your child here, you know, in our local level 4, there are still, my understanding is there are still options between Holmes and Glasgow, thank you, where the program is. Now, Holmes is an honors for all, so they do have open honors classes for any and all students to be able to access, and they've been working really diligently on that.
Okay.
And then AAP really doesn't go beyond middle school in the traditional AAP way.
Okay.
So how that impacts high school, we might have to look into a little bit, which we know Bryn Mawr Park is already in a little bit of a different place, right? Because our kids, even though we're in an Annandale pyramid, our students go to Edison High School where there's an IB program, which is an international baccalaureate, which is part of that AAP program. So yeah.
That's helpful.
Any more questions? Any other questions online that didn't catch?
No, you answered all the questions that have
Can I ask one question on behalf of a neighbor? What's the password for the Zoom? We had a link, but no password. Do you? Yeah. If it's not obvious, it's okay. I told her I'd take notes for both of us, but so it's fine.
Okay, my apologies.
No,
I don't know
it's
how all
okay.
the other people got
Obviously,
it.
other people found it, so it was a us problem, not a you problem, but it's okay.
Okay,
I fill her in.
I was gonna
It's
say,
great.
yeah, my apologies. I thought I had set it up in a way that
I'm
there
sure
should
you
not have
probably
been any
did.
password required,
It was
so.
probably us. It's
Okay.
okay. I was like, I'm just gonna go. So,
Okay,
Thank you.
well, thank you for coming. We appreciated it.
Do you have recommendations for resources to find more information on like the middle school situation?
I do.
'Cause I've been trying to find that kind of stuff. It's kind of hard on mine. So
For both of the schools?
for both the schools, just to kind of compare or see what it's like.
Yes, I can check in with the teachers and get that, and then, the turnaround on that,
It's not tomorrow in debate.
not tomorrow. You guys will help remind me. And what class, Miss Robinson?
Yeah,
for your-
I have a few years, so.
Thank you.
I think the earlier you start, the better opportunities you have. Well, that's all I have for tonight, but like I said before, if you have more questions as it comes toward the parent teacher conference, all you have to do is check in with the classroom teacher. They will check in with me. I am more than willing to sit in on those conferences and answer more questions.
I'm sorry, can I ask you a quick question? Is this recording made available online?
Yes, it is.
We will have it posted on our website next week. Early next week, and what I'll do is, knowing that there was a password, and I just checked and I had one email saying, hey, I can't get in, what's the password? So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and send out a message to the entire school community just saying, hey, it's now online. And you can view it here, just so that everybody has the opportunity to see it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, well, if there's not any more questions. Here is my, oh, I had contact information up there for you guys. All right, there's all the information if you guys want to take a snapshot of that. Don't be afraid, you can come on up and get close.
Yeah.
Do you want to stand next to your information?
So, yes, and just to avoid confusion, Gabby Williams, Elizabeth Williams.
We have one more Williams that's not here.
It's in our school community this year, so it's been very fun with the kids, like, wait, are there 3 Ms. Williams here? There? And when they say, I love Miss Williams, I'm like,
Take the win, take the win.
Well, thank you all so much for allowing us to have a little bit of your time tonight. There was probably a million things you could have been doing, but you chose to come here and we appreciate that. And thank you for welcoming me to the community. I'm super excited. You will be hearing a lot more from me, not anytime soon because I'm tired right now. But I am around and available. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
thank you.